What just went down at the Supreme Court is enormous, yet almost no one is screaming about it. An 8-1 shadow docket order dropped last week that completely rewrites the playbook for every gun rights fight still in the pipeline. This isn't a clean W or L, it's way messier and way more important than a simple headline. Stick with me to the end and you'll know exactly how this quietly shifts the ground under your right to keep and bear arms. Quick favor, pound that subscribe button and double check you're still on the list. YouTube's been ghost unsubbing channels like mine. If this intel matters, tap the thumbs up so the algorithm doesn't bury it. Alright, here we go. The court just refused to hit pause on a blockbuster case you've probably never heard of. The star of the show is something called a Second Amendment Preservation Act, SAPA for short. Think of it as a no-help law. The state tells DC, if we believe your gun rules are unconstitutional, we're sitting this one out. That matters because the ATF, FBI, and every other three-letter crew barely have the bodies to police a mid-sized city on their own. They need local sheriffs, state troopers, and county DAs to make federal gun statutes stick. When a state says, call someone else, the feds feel it fast. Missouri went full throttle in 2021. Their version declared, 1. Missouri alone decides what the Second Amendment means inside its borders. 2. No state funds, no state personnel, no state buildings for enforcing federal gun schemes we deem illegitimate. 3. Any citizen who spots a state cop helping the feds can drag that officer into court and sue him personally. That third clause is the jaw-dropper. It hands enforcement keys to everyday people. Biden's DOJ filed suit within weeks, screaming obstruction. A district judge nuked the entire statute. Missouri asked for an emergency stay. Basically, let us keep our law alive while we appeal. Denied. So, Missouri sprinted to 1 First Street, begging the Supremes to hit the red button. That almost never works, but when it does, it's because constitutional oxygen is running out. Here's the count that shocked court watchers. 8 justices said, nah, we're staying on the sidelines. Only Clarence Thomas dissented, again the lonely sentinel reminding his colleagues that the Second Amendment isn't a constitutional orphan. Missouri trudged back to the 8th Circuit for a rocket docket hearing. Same result. Law dies on the spot. But the panel let a fascinating admission slip. The architecture of SAPA might be fine. Judges just hated that it was protecting guns. They basically confessed, we're vetoing your motive, not your structure. Even crazier, the court ruled that not helping the feds equals active enforcement. Let that sink in. Silence became conduct. Inaction became action. 0 became 1. Missouri's lawyers asked the obvious. How can we be enjoined for enforcing a law when we're literally doing nothing? Crickets. Now the plot twist. The plaintiff changed jerseys mid-game. Trump won the election. Everyone waited to see if the new DOJ would drop the suit. For months, radio silence. Finally, the Solicitor General filed a letter that legal nerds are still dissecting. Parts of Missouri's statute are likely invalid, but the lower court overkilled with a chainsaw when a scalpel would do. Send it back to the district judge and we'll agree to lift portions of the injunction. Translation: we'll let the non-cooperation chunks breathe. They even name-dropped the anti-commandeering doctrine, New York versus United States, Prince versus United States, cases that say Uncle Sam can't press gang state employees into federal service. Missouri fired back. You just admitted the injunction is too broad. Exactly why the Supreme Court should grab this case now. 8 justices still decline. Thomas again was the sole yes. So the fight parachutes back to the Western District of Missouri, where a judge who already hates the law will decide which limbs get reattached. What happens next, and why should you care? 1. The Trump DOJ has pinky promised to narrow the injunction. Expect them to greenlight the pure, we're not lifting a finger provisions. Missouri cops will be free to say, not our circus, not our monkeys, when ATF asks for help on background check stings or pistol brace raids. 2. That doesn't create a magical force field against federal law. The feds can still roll in with their own agents, but without local SWAT, intel, or jails, the math gets ugly fast. 3. Other red states are taking notes. If even half of SAPA survives, clone bills will drop in Texas, Wyoming, West Virginia, maybe your capital next week. Gun control groups know this. That's why they wanted the statute vaporized, not trimmed. 4. The stakes are bigger than firearms. Picture blue states tomorrow refusing to assist ICE, DEA, or EPA based on their own constitutional readings. The same legal lever Missouri is pulling could reshape marijuana, immigration, or climate enforcement nationwide. We're watching a potential rebalancing of the entire federal-state seesaw. 5. This still isn't over. A final judgment in the district court can be appealed back up the food chain. Thomas has already telegraphed he's interested. He only needs 4 friends to grant cert later. We could yet get a landmark opinion on whether states can ghost the feds on gun control. So, is this a win, a loss, or a muddy maybe? Yes, all 3. Missouri lives to fight another day. The feds keep their enforcement monopoly for now, and the rest of us get a front row seat to the next round. Your move. Light up your state reps. Ask if they're willing to copy Missouri's playbook. Pressure trumps DOJ to keep its word when the district judge redraws the lines. Support the gun rights groups filing amicus briefs. And for the love of James Madison, vote in your state legislative races. Those down-ballot contests decide whether SAPA clones live or die. The Second Amendment has never defended itself. It's defended by ordinary people who refuse to look away. If this breakdown opened your eyes, slam the like, share it with a buddy who still thinks the Supreme Court only meets in June, and ring the bell so you don't miss the next update when the district judge drops the next shoe. Freedom isn't a spectator sport. See you in the next video.